Welcome to the Happily Ever After Cold Case Podcast. We're your hosts, Alyssa and Marissa, distant cousins who take on distant cases. Come with us as we explore the crimes of legendary tales of the past. All right, so we got some stuff to talk about tonight, which is good. Hold on, let me let me find my what the hell did I do with it? Hold on.
I don't know. What did you do with what?
My shrooms? No. That was a different list.
What kind of
No,
shrooms?
that's not it. Any kind. I'm good. There it is. Okay. All right. So, let me take a sip of my beverage.
Oh, wait, you remember to stop it and not just turn off the browser.
Yeah, I know. I saw that because I did that last night. I'm like,
oh no.
bye
Whoops.
everybody.
Just kept recording.
Yeah, just bye everybody. God. All right.
Fun times.
Fun times. We are fourth cousins, but in the world of Jews, that could mean double second cousins too. Anyway, we take all cold cases, even the really old ones, seriously. No stone unturned. That being said, we're not comedians, just naturally funny Jews. It's literally in the DNA. Good evening, Alyssa. Good to see you again.
You too. How was your
We gotta get.
week?
It's been great. We should get together more often than just once a week. It's
We
yeah,
should. We should.
yeah.
It's
Let's do
kind of
that.
it's kind of sad. Do you just I don't know if you just dislike me or if there's something else going on.
Well, yeah, partially maybe. I don't know. I mean, hey,
Oh,
if you think about it, I mean, if with our massive family tree, all the cousins I've collected, you're the one I speak to the most.
I feel flattered. I
You
think.
should.
I'm not really
You should.
sure.
Yeah, it may not be flattering. Maybe a
So
curse.
so do you talk to me just because 'cause I'm closest, or you talk to me just because I'm the one who's least likely to say no?
That's a really good question. I don't know the answer.
I'm here with the hard hitters.
You are. I gotta think
Yeah.
about that. I gotta yeah, hmm. I mean, there is a cousin on my dad's side that responds and talks to me fairly frequently. There's another one in Sweden, that talks to me.
I wonder if they
Hmm,
live in Sweden
I
just
know.
so they can be far from
To
you.
get away from
It
me.
wouldn't
Yeah, yeah,
surprise
yeah.
me.
No,
Yeah,
me either. Not me
yeah.
either. On my dad's side, yeah,
You
fair
you
enough.
you are y you are like a bulldog. You just once you set your mind to something, you just grab on and you hold on.
Um, because if I don't, I'll forget about it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I'm there with you. I think that might
Yeah,
be a family trait.
it is. Why do you think I'm the keeper of the family tree? Because it's one of the few things I can focus on.
Right, and the rest of us have just forgotten about it.
Exactly. You're like,
Yeah.
"Relatives? What
Out
are
of
those?"
quite literally out of sight, out of mind.
Right. And I happen to be just, around the corner. Well, okay, a couple of hours away. Well, it's not even that bad. All right, what do you have for us this week?
Well, I'm
As
I'm glad that
Mother's Day
we
week, Mother's Day weekend.
yes, Mother's Day, my bubby's 100th birthday. That's actually why I decided to look for something that sort of focused on women, or at least has a woman as the protagonist, or well, in this case, maybe not a protagonist. She's definitely someone who's not the nicest person, I think. But
Okay.
she is a very powerful woman, at least for her time, and I thought, you know what, that's good enough.
Yeah,
That's great.
power chicks.
Powerful
Absolutely.
powerful women, and I think maybe this was retold, and the journalists who recorded this and preserved this case for posterity were probably just threatened by powerful women, so maybe that's why she comes off so bad. So I think maybe she got a bad rap.
Women do. If you're a power woman, you get called all sorts of names.
Mhm.
We're kind of used to that. So let's see. Let me see if I come to the same conclusion as you.
Okay, well, this one, I do know where it took place. This is a very, very
Wow.
old case. Another just really, really old case. This time I do know it is from Russia, or
Ooh,
what what is Russia today, I guess. I don't know where in Russia, but it is they do use a lot of Russian, the language, and this is
okay.
translated from Russian. There are a lot of Russian names. So I know that they come from a part of the world where they at least speak Russian. That's about as good as I can get.
So, like, this might have actually come over with one of our family members. Who
It might
knows?
have, yeah. Yeah, it could have.
Wow,
Yeah. Well, from one of our
crazy.
Ashkenazi family members.
Yes,
I think I
exactly.
told you, I think on my mom's side, from some of her other family members, there's also we also have family who are Sephardi and Mizrahi. So this would just be on the Ashkenazi side.
Fair enough, and I've got Italian, so, definitely not
There you go.
Italians in Russia
No,
there. Okay.
no. But we do all have a really, really good food culture in our
Yes, we
backgrounds.
do. We do. We're mutts.
Mhm. Mhm. Now this one starts off not so much with the food, although the food is a big part in this story. So
Nice.
I think it's right up our alley. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And better yet, I don't think, from what I was able to find and what I was able to read that had been translated, I don't think anyone really dies. So I'm really, really
Ooh, this
pleased to
sounds
say
fun.
that, yeah, that this cold case didn't involve murder. I'm
Nice.
I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Very nice for a change, yeah.
Mhm.
Especially with Mother's Day coming up,
I
that's
know, it's so nice. Now there is some child neglect, unfortunately, and some
yeah.
we're getting back into that thing that we've seen, that pattern of stepmothers disliking
Ugh,
their children.
awful.
Really unfortunate. Yeah. Really, really unfortunate.
Alright. What do you got?
Well, in this case, so we know, like I said, it does take place somewhere where Russian is used, whether that's part of the former Russian Empire, part of what is Russia today. I don't know, but somewhere where Russian is used. And there's a man, and he's married, lives with his wife. They seem to have a fairly happy family, or at least a family that didn't have any type of complaints. I didn't see any evidence of any type of legal complaints. No neighbors complained. There were just no negative complaints about that family for a good period of
Oh,
time.
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of
Nice
nice. It's
people.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice
what a
people,
change.
some kids. Yeah, just kind of living their normal lives and going about their business.
Roll
And
credits. Oh, no, no,
I'm
no.
sorry?
I said roll credits,
I know, and we're done.
and we're done. Peace
But
out.
this is, yes, but this is something that, this is a podcast that talks about cold cases. So,
So there's more?
something's going to happen. Well, yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah,
if this was a happily ever after, then we could just roll credits, but, no,
yeah,
we talk about cold cases and true crime,
and the
and,
difficult stuff.
uh-huh, and the difficult stuff, yeah. So we know it doesn't end there, unfortunately.
Yeah, fair
It's very
enough.
sad, very sad. And like many people, or many cases that we've seen, the mother dies. It's very
Oh,
unfortunate. Although,
that is sad.
not uncommon, especially for that part of the world, that period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
just
how
lack
how
of
how
good
long
medical
ago?
care, lack of nutrition. Oh, this is hundreds of years ago. This is
Okay.
another very, very old case.
Oh, man,
So,
people didn't live
medical
very long
care,
then. Yeah,
no, they
yeah.
didn't. Medical care wasn't great. Nutrition wasn't great, especially in the middle of winter. If you were going kind of light on your stores of food,
You're in
starvation
trouble.
was not uncommon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the wife in this case died, and she left her husband and her two children.
Mm.
They lived for a few years. The husband didn't really want to remarry. He loved his wife. There's no evidence that there was any type of foul play. It really looks like they were just a normal family, and she passed. And he just didn't want to remarry at that point.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
He was in
Uncommon,
love with
but
her. He's
yeah.
in love with
Yeah.
her, yeah.
Yeah. We don't see that very
Kudos,
often.
kudos. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Although eventually he did remarry, as was common again during that period of
Sure.
time. It men remarried once their partners passed, and that just the family continued. So he
Well,
did
and you
remarry.
can't expect him to just be alone for the rest of his life. Sure.
Right, and raised 2 children as a single dad.
Yeah,
Right.
fair enough.
So, well, especially then.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he remarries, and here's where things start to go bad.
of course.
Of course, yes.
It seems to be a
The st
running theme, I'm telling you.
Mhm. Something with stepmothers.
Yeah.
Very
Gonna have to have
it's
my stepdaughters, listen to this, and as a word
mhm,
of warning, you know?
right. Yeah,
No,
they should. They
not
should.
heads up.
Both as a word of warning to them and to you.
Yeah, cautionary tales,
Mhm,
absolutely.
mhm. Sort of a
Yep.
warning to them, just to watch out since you are a stepmother, but also warning to you so that they know in case you start to act that they should probably cut off your head, since that seems to be a running theme on how to get rid of stepmothers.
Or don't cross the line and don't cross me. One or the other.
Oh, well, yeah, that although,
There's that.
I don't think that works because in a lot of the cases that we've seen, the children didn't try or make any type of aggressive or other type of assertive actions to, as you said, cross the stepmother. They just sort of existed.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, my stepdaughters are adults now, but they're pretty cool. I don't think they would cross a line anyway, so I think we're safe.
Oh, okay. That's comforting. I'm sure
Yeah,
Amy is really pleased to know that.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful. Oh, what a happy family.
I know, right? And if something
Great.
happens to her, I will remarry. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully then um your new wife will not be a horrible stepmother.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Right. Well, in this
So he
case,
remarries.
he remarries. Yeah, we are noticing a pattern here with
Yeah,
stepmothers,
yep.
and she fits that pattern. She does, and
Mm.
she does not like her stepchildren. It I did see some information indicating that she had some of her own children as well. So it looks sort of like
Ooh, competition.
yeah, yeah, competition. She wanted to protect her biological children
Sure.
and did not appreciate the 2 older children from the prior relationship.
Not uncommon, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Yeah, very, very sad. And she decided to get rid of them. And so she told them that they were going to have to go visit her grandmother. Now, one good thing about these 2 children, they were a boy and a girl, and the girl was very, very smart. She I don't know what happened to her later in life,
Wait, did you
but
say they
I
were
would
both
not
girls?
no, it's a boy and a girl, brother and
Oh,
sister.
okay, okay, okay,
But the
okay.
girl was very smart, and I don't know what
Yeah,
happened to her later in life, but I would not be surprised if she was able to branch out and maybe do something independently. So maybe not
okay,
just end up getting married and sort of relegated to that role that women were stuck in for so long, but
right.
do something on her own and independent. 'Cause she's very smart.
Interesting.
Yeah. So she's going out after their stepmother. So her and her brother had to leave after the stepmother told them to go visit her grandmother in the woods. And this young girl knew that the stepmother wasn't talking about her own grandmother, but was actually talking about this woman that lived somewhat nearby in the woods. And the people in the village called her Baba Yaga. She was sort of an older woman. She didn't really have many friends. But she kind of just kept to herself.
And does that translate to grandmother
No, that
in
was her
Russian or
name.
something?
Baba. Well, her
Oh,
name is Yaga. Baba.
and
Grandmother.
Baba would
Yeah.
say grandmother, yeah, okay.
Grandmother. Yeah. Grandmother. Yeah.
'Cause I was
Or
gonna say
so.
the Yiddish bubby, you're talking
Hmm.
about your bubby's 100th birthday
Hmm.
so Baba, the Russia okay, alright,
Yeah.
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So
Look
grandmother
at me, I
Yaga.
speak
Baba
Russian.
Yaga.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's wonderful. So this young girl knew that they were supposed to go to their grandmothers and realized that their grandmother that her stepmother was talking about was actually Baba Yaga, this woman who did not have a relationship with them and who kind of had, I think, maybe an an unfortunate reputation. I don't think it was well
Oh,
deserved personally. Again,
okay.
I'm looking at this from our modern perspective and knowing how journalists and other men wrote down and talked about powerful women. So I think
Sure.
her reputation was probably just emphasized, and she was probably just an older woman who happened to be independent and wealthy and powerful. But
Well,
such
a
is
and
uh such is how women are talked about.
when I think of, when I think of Baba or Bubby, I immediately think of, an older woman, a grandmother figure. She may be powerful, but with her family, she's, very genuine, very, very loving. I didn't have a grandmother, so I mean, that's my image. But yeah, I mean, I did have grandmothers. I just didn't know them. It's not like I just, poof, just appeared. I do descend from humans, but I just never knew them. So, yeah, when I think of the word Bubby or Baba, I think, loving woman, just like a grandma figure, and, I can't see why they would have given her this bad rap.
I don't know if maybe she just wasn't the most maternal. There doesn't seem to be any indication that she had any family. So I don't know if she just never had children, maybe she never married, and that's where this negative reputation came from.
Ah, okay, okay, and they probably just called her
Mhm.
that because she was older?
Older. Yeah.
Like an respectful endearment or something?
We I don't know if they would think it's respectful, but let's assume that it's respectful.
Okay, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So the two children, they go to their own grandmother's house since they know that they're actually supposed to go to Baba Yaga's, but they think maybe we'll just go to our grandmother's instead and see if we can just stay there. They get to their grandmother's. Their grandmother is not able to care for them. I don't know if maybe she was just too elderly or she wasn't otherwise able to care for them, and so she kind of told them that they had to go back and they had to go to Baba
Oh,
Yaga. But she did give them some advice, and I think maybe some good bubby, some good grandmotherly advice. And she told them, just be good kids. Make sure that you listen and you do what you're told. You just be respectful. A lot of just good,
yeah, good advice.
positive,
Yeah,
just solid attributes. Just like don't be an asshole, pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah,
Right?
exactly,
Right?
exactly.
Don't be
Basic.
d- don't
Yeah,
don't be a jerk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just basic common sense. I mean, well,
Mhm.
okay, maybe not today, but, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You would
right?
think that that didn't need to be
Don't
told, but yeah, good advice.
well, it is good advice, and it would be nice if we didn't have to be told that, but
Right, yeah,
as you
apparently
know,
we do. Yeah,
we do.
we do.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So this
It
grandmother,
is what it is.
their grandmother gave them some food, some cookies, because everybody loves cookies. I honestly think cookies could be the universal currency. Cookies are amazing.
Oh,
They're
yeah, for
fantastic.
sure.
Oh
And
yeah.
Russian ones, they must have been like,
Oh,
oh,
delicious.
yeah,
All different
yeah,
kinds. Just beautiful.
my mouth is watering already.
I know. Maybe now I want some cookies. Could really use
Yeah,
some. Yeah.
hmm, good point.
Well, let's finish this and then I'll
Okay,
go
and
have some
then we'll
cookies.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
fair enough, fair
yeah.
enough.
Sounds it's a good enough reason.
Yeah.
So these children, they left. They were able to take their food. At least now they're not starving, and they have the universal currency, which is, as we have both agreed, cookies.
Cookies.
And they do go to Baba Yaga's house. Now her house. This is where it gets a little bit weird, and here's where I'm curious as to whether there have been some issues with translation. So what I was able to find in the English, and my Russian is absolutely terrible, so I'm not able to translate this myself. I have to rely on other translations. But what I was able to figure out, I guess, from the translation is the description of this house that Baba Yaga lived in sounds like it was a home turned around. So the back of the home was facing the entry, and it was mobile, but it was mobile because it was resting on two giant chicken legs.
What?
Yeah, yeah. I looked at
That's
several different translations and they all said the same thing.
That's strange. That must be
Mhm.
something in the translation from the Russian.
And it must be
I mean, I
going
can
way, way back since all these English
yeah.
translations say the same thing,
Wow, wow. I
right?
mean, the back being in the front, I've seen houses with some weird construction. The chicken legs, I'm thinking that's gotta be a
Very odd.
mistranslation from
It
the
it must
original
be, it
article.
must be. Right. It must be because houses are still mobile and they can move, they can turn, there's wheels, but, it sounds like this one, at least from what I was able to see, is that it turned on chicken legs and that people could go
That's
up
just
to this
odd.
house if they were able to find it and shout out Izbushka, because the house had a name, as some large houses do and
Sure,
still do
yep,
at this
estate.
point. You know,
Yeah,
we still have estates that are named. Yeah,
mhm.
this one,
I
maybe
wanna
not an
name my house.
estate. What do you wanna name it?
I'm not sure, so far I just call it house, but
Mm,
I do really wanna name it. I've always thought that was cool, and I aspire to name my house. But anyway, go ahead.
okay.
So it had a
So it's
name.
it's not just gonna be house, like, I have a friend who has a cat named Cat,
Oh, I had a
but the
pig
cat is
named
spelled with
Dog.
a K. Oh, well,
Oh,
there you
fair
go.
enough. Yeah.
It's that's creative.
Yeah, we had a pig named Dog, so,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know,
Did
I'm
it
weird
bark
like
or
that.
did it oink? Or was it
Neither. It grunted.
confused?
It just grunted.
Mm. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cute guy, though.
Very cute. Very cute pig named Dog. Or dog named
So
Pig.
dog named Pig. Pig named Dog. It
Mhm.
was a pig named Dog. It was a real pig. So this is I don't okay, I get the whole naming of the house. That sounds like probably a larger house, a wealthier woman, independent. We don't know where she got
Mhm.
her money, family money or owned businesses or what have you. But I, yeah, I've got the chicken legs still stuck in my throat there. It's really bothering me a little bit. It's weird.
It is weird, but with the way this house was constructed, it was able to turn around and people were able to enter the home through the front door.
I bet it was up on, like, maybe some sort of posts, like in areas where there's a lot
Mm.
of water, and
Mhm.
they probably called what their word for it was chicken legs. Eh,
But then
I
how
don't
would
know.
the
It's a
house
guess. It's a
turn?
guess.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah,
strange. Or
it's a
maybe it's
guess.
on some type of
Yes.
mobile platform.
Sure. Sure.
Mm. Well, either way, the children were able to enter the home called I'm sorry, the home called Izbushka. The home's name was Izbushka.
Izbushka, okay.
Izbushka, and they were able to enter the home and they met Baba Yaga.
And I'm assuming she gave them or they gave her some cookies?
Well, initially, no, they had their own food, which was very nice. They had some introductions and she was able to meet them and said, "All right, you can stay here. I can care for you. And as long as you satisfy all my wishes, so, just do your chores, do all the things that I ask you to do, you'll be
Right.
fine and they'll get rewarded. But here's the thing, if they didn't satisfy her wishes, she'd eat them.
Ooh,
And
what?
she had a
Excuse me?
reputation for that too. She did.
Oh, this got weird.
It did. And I don't know, again, this is kind of one of those things where I don't know if that reputation was something that others gave her or if she actually did engage in murder and cannibalism.
Well, it doesn't sound like any charges were brought here because you did say in
No.
the beginning there were no murders. I'm
Mhm.
wondering if, I remember as a little kid, um, the older generation saying, "Oh, I just want to eat that face," you know?
Yeah, that could be it. And
Couldn't
she's
that?
we,
Yeah,
we know that she lives in a home that's at least large enough to have a name. She lives
yeah.
by herself. She doesn't have any children that she can call her own. And she's
She's
an
lonely.
older woman. So
Yeah.
I honestly think that a lot of this negative reputation that she garnered was really just
Misinterpretation.
misinterpretation. Yeah, that's at
I
least
mean,
my opinion. Reading
because I say
from my perspective today.
exactly, and I say that to my dogs, "Oh, you're so cute, I wanna eat you." I'm not gonna eat my dogs. I mean, they would taste bad, but, it's
And there's
just
not much of them. They're so
I
tiny.
mean, unless it was an apocalypse. No, anyway, I'm back. Okay. So, no, yeah, I would not ever. I'd start first. So, a child, maybe. No, kidding. So
Well,
yes, go
there's more
ahead.
meat.
Yes, yeah, there's more meat on a child than a
Right.
dog, especially these.
Well,
Yeah.
your dogs, yeah, they're
They're
tiny.
like,
I think
yeah,
it's mostly
it's like
just bone and
kibble.
hair.
It is bone and hair. Yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah.
They would probably scare my dog, though. She's very scared of tiny dogs.
Really?
Yeah, it's terrified.
That's that's pretty funny.
Mhm. All 93
Not
pounds of
gonna
her.
lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Very weird. So we're not gonna eat our
Just like
dogs.
this story.
Yes. Tell me, so she doesn't eat these kids, but these kids think she's going to eat them. So now she's
Mhm.
terrified. Now, oh, how old are these kids? Do we know?
We don't know an exact age. I
Okay.
I think that they were probably between ages of, I'm guessing, maybe 9 to 13, young enough that neither of them were of marriage age, since there's
Okay.
no mention in any articles or in any translation of them getting married, at least at this point,
Yeah.
but old enough to at least sort of function on their own and not need adult care all the time.
Well, yeah, 13, you're an adult at those, those times. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but
Yeah.
impressionable. I mean, they probably
Mhm.
still it frightened them. They misunderstood and it frightened them and okay,
Mhm.
I can
Yeah,
see
and
that.
and especially when they come up to this house, it's large enough to have a name,
Yeah.
and what they think maybe, or at least what's been translated, standing on chicken
Chicken
legs and
feet.
is
Yeah.
able to turn, yeah, chicken legs with feet and is able to turn around, they're probably very, very scared. So
Yeah.
they get working right away. She gives them some chores to do, like the young girl is told to go spin, the young boy is told to carry water in this sieve from the well to a tub, and they both start working. Although unfortunately, a lot of these chores are hard to do, especially when the tools you're given aren't that great.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
did they know they were gonna be put right to work? I mean, does she think that she's got servants visiting or something?
No,
Very
although I
odd.
I have to I have to think that this was probably fairly common at that point. There's no automation, there's no
And as an older
machinery.
Yeah, and I'm sure as an older woman, I'm sure people did come to her and do things like, one of my cousins actually, my cousin in Sweden, her husband, goes and fixes pipes and things for the elderly in their village. So, yeah, I can get where maybe she just kind of expects it now.
Mhm. And they expect to do it too. Since they're young
Yeah,
enough, they can
yeah,
they can help shoulder some of the burden. So they start
sure.
working. And I don't know if maybe she was sort of down on her luck or just being a little bit older and living on her own. Maybe some of her household items are a little bit worn. But what I could see is from the information is that a lot of the tools that these kids were given, like for sewing, for spinning, for carrying water, going through gates, a lot of these tools were pretty old, pretty bad. Like that boy was told to carry water in a
In a
sieve.
sieve. Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
weird. That's
Just
weird.
covered in
How do you
holes.
do that?
Holes everywhere.
Like,
Right,
carried in my
right.
hands, that yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it sounds like she was frugal.
Could have been. And maybe that's how she's able to save so much money, especially in that during that
Yeah,
time period.
and I'm
Very
assuming
smart
there's
of her.
no yeah, and there's no Home Depot 'cause,
No,
or Lowe's,
no.
so yeah, yeah,
Right. And
it's
if
kinda
if
weird.
you're gonna if you're gonna live in that part of the world, save your money for something that you can actually use, like food, as opposed to just some
Exactly,
old tools. Right?
exactly. So I
Yeah.
can't blame her, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
sieve is a little weird, but,
It is a little weird.
yeah,
Right. But in this case, the children were good kids, and they hopped right to it. They were able to use some of the food that they had been given by their grandmother, namely the cookies. Remember, I said
yeah,
cookies,
yeah.
universal. And they were able to work with some of the local wildlife. I guess there were a lot of
What?
mice around. Yeah, a lot of mice,
They were
but a lot of the local wildlife, I think
Did
people
you
back
say
then
work?
sort of
Did you
lived.
say work with the wildlife?
Yeah, people back then, I guess, lived a lot more rurally. They lived. closer to the land, I guess, closer to
Okay.
animals, worked with animals. And in this case, we're able to work with some of the local wildlife, and the mice were able to help with spinning, and the young boy was able to find some mud and stop up all those holes in the sieve, all that
Wait, wait,
kind of
wait.
nice stuff.
So hang tight.
Mhm.
They were that's what you mean by they were talking to these animals?
They think so. I don't know if they
I
actually were,
Yeah, that might
but
be a little lost in translation. I mean, maybe
it
they got people to help them and they called them animals. I don't know.
oh, yeah,
Just a
yeah, maybe
just a
there's just
guess.
a large number of people and they gathered
Yeah,
like mice.
yeah. Yeah, oh, there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah,
That makes
but
more sense.
thankfully yeah, but thankfully those 2 kids were smart enough and they were able to work and complete their chores.
Nice. Good on
Mhm,
them.
mhm.
So then now do they give her the cookies?
Well, no, the cookies are still for them, but the cookies are universal, and they
Okay.
just continued living there and working with Baba Yaga, or well, I guess 4, and they continued. And as time
How
went
long were they
by,
there for?
for a couple weeks, not too bad, doing some
No, that doesn't sound
chores.
too bad.
No,
Yeah.
no, doing some chores, helping this old woman out. But it does sound like they at least did try to leave once or twice. And I don't
Oh.
know if it was just, she's not their relative that's not home, or maybe they were still scared. I don't know.
Oh, there's an argument. There could have been an argument
No. Oh
too.
yeah, could have been argument. Could
Yeah.
have been. I didn't see any evidence of domestic violence, so at least
Good.
that's good.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does sound like they did try to leave. And I did see some information in here about one of those occasions when they tried to leave, going through this gate. Now, like I said before, Baba Yaga had just kind of some older home home goods. There was no Home Depot, there was no
Yeah.
Lowe's. So things were kind of old. They maybe weren't kept up in the
Getting in
best way.
disrepair. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And this
The
gate was
ravages of
so
time.
squeaky. Mhm. And this gate was
Mm,
so squeaky. But these kids, they were very smart and they had gathered some oil and they oiled the gate. So when they tried to leave,
nice.
they were able to leave without the gate squeaking. It's wonderful.
And not waking her up too, which,
Mhm.
was thoughtful.
Right. Now, Baba Yaga was displeased. Here's these 2 kids. They've come
Oh,
to live with her, or as she believes, they've come to live with her. They've been helping her out around the house. And what happens? They go.
they
They
leave.
leave. They don't even say goodbye. They just go.
She's grown fond of them.
I, I would think so. She told them
It
right off
sounds
the
like it.
bat. She told them right off the bat that if you're good, I'll reward you. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
right. Why would
That's the
they
same
leave?
thing That's the same thing anybody says today. If you're good, I'll give you, and you do get your chores done for the day.
Hmm.
We'll have a nice evening. You'll get rewarded. It's called parenting 101.
Yeah. Yeah. And then these kids up and leave.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Runaways.
Just really, really, really sad. And maybe it was a better time of year. Maybe it wasn't cold anymore and they weren't as afraid
Right.
of the winter. I don't know.
Fair
But they
enough.
did. They left. So she goes out, she's looking around, she's looking at all of her different parts of her home, like her gate. Like I said, her gate. Her gate was all squeaky and it didn't squeak this
Right.
time and she couldn't figure out why. Turns out it was oiled. They had oiled
Which
it
is
like I
what
told
you
you
do.
before. They had
Yeah.
oiled it.
Smart
They were able
kids.
to get out. They were able to get out.
That's what you do to a squeaky gate.
Mhm.
Grab some WD-40. I mean, okay, they just grab some oil, but same thing.
Mhm. Right. They got yeah. So they get out. Baba Yaga's really unhappy, and so she goes after them.
Well, she's
Now,
responsible for them.
she is, although I also think maybe she was kind of happy having some kids around the house helping to do some of the chores.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. So she goes out after them. And now this part I'm really really confused. It sounds like from the English translation that she had a mortar. And I'm not sure what kind of mortar, like a mortar and pestle,
That's what
how
I'm
that would
thinking.
work, but she
Yeah.
has a mortar that she was able to ride on, almost like
Ho
like a
how
flying
do you
car.
how the heck do you ride on a mortar? That's
I
very
don't
strange.
know. Yeah, I don't know, but she was able to travel very far
Hmm.
and quickly.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, lost in translation, I'm thinking. Alright.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Yeah. And so she went out looking for them. She couldn't find them, and then eventually she was able to locate them, but they heard her coming.
Ooh.
Mhm. And I really have to think that with these kids running away, not just once, but twice, and getting away, and from what I've been able to see about them wanting to stay away, I just have to think that they were just not happy there.
They're spoiled. That's all
Could
I'm gonna
be.
say. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say it.
could
I'm gonna
be.
say it. I'm gonna
Could
call it
be.
out. I'm calling it out. Spoiled children. Calling it out.
Could be. Very much so. Could
Yeah.
be. Yeah. So they heard her coming and they were able to get away by throwing some of her own property that she had. They'd taken it from her. They still had those cookies.
Oh,
They had traded a bunch of stuff for those cookies and they had taken some of her property. And
they
as she's come,
traded for
mhm.
cookies? Yeah, yeah, sure.
Cookies are the universal currency. We've talked about
You
this.
yeah, I'm sorry. They took her property. No wonder why she's chasing after them.
Yeah, I
Why is
think
this old lady, this kind old lady, gonna trade cookies for her belongings? She's not desperate.
no, you know what? I think you're right. I think she was chasing them not because she missed them, but because they were thieves.
Yeah, yeah. I told
Mhm.
you. I knew it.
Yeah. Yeah. So they threw her some of her property, and once they threw it at her, they were able to cross the river, and she wasn't able to get after them. I guess she got
She's
her stuff.
older.
She
Yeah,
figured
and
out, I got my stuff. This river is too much.
yeah,
I'm done.
and she goes home.
Well, not
Or
quite.
does sh Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. It it's Russia,
yeah.
and you get a little upset sometimes. You can't stop.
I remember some of our elder relatives,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think at least what I can imagine some of my family going, "I got my stuff. I'm done."
yeah,
And then you start
yeah.
thinking, they took my stuff though. They took it from me and they threw it at me and that was supposed to stop me. But now I'm upset."
So she's kvetching, she's upset,
She's kvetching.
she's
She's very upset.
I think I
She's
don't blame
schlepped
her.
all the way out there, and there's this whole mishpacha, and
Yeah.
she's very, very, very just she's working herself up. She's
Well,
getting verklempt.
in all fairness, she's gotta now schlep this stuff back to her house,
Mhm.
and
And I don't know if she can
ob
carry it on her mortar. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know the mechanics of how the mortar works.
right. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't blame
Ugh,
her.
yeah. So
I
she
right
was
now, I'm
able to
on her
cross the
side.
river, find a shallow spot, cross the river
Ooh,
after getting herself worked up a bit about it. And
sure.
I'm not mad about that. I think
No,
I'm there with her.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
I'm
So
going
she's
after the
chasing
thief.
those kids. She's chasing those kids again, those two little thieves, little minor
Hooligans.
theft.
Yeah.
And they
Were they
start
stealing minors or they no, it was
no,
just
they are
okay,
minors and it was
I'm
theft.
joking. Okay, so they weren't stealing actual minors, they were minors
Right.
that were okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But
Alright.
not minors who go into a mountain to mine. Minors as in
No,
children.
no. Fair okay,
Very,
got
very
it.
easy to confuse.
It is, it is.
Yeah.
I've had trouble with that, yeah.
Yeah. It really, really changes the meaning of the sentence.
Uh, Fair enough, much like an Oxford comma missing,
Mhm.
when you have that extra
Right.
comma and somebody takes it away, that really pisses me off too.
And it
So,
changes the whole
yeah,
meaning of the sentence.
it does, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she does cross the river.
She
after
does. She
all.
crosses the river. She's able to find a bit of a shallow spot and she crosses the river, but they still had some of her stuff. So it's a good thing she kept going.
Oh,
It's a good thing.
indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She
Well,
keeps
a
going.
couple of gonifs, you know? A couple of
Mm,
thieves, gonifs.
yeah. Yeah. She's out here just living her life. And what do? They
Yeah,
come in, they steal some of her stuff. It's like, oh, why to me? What are they gonna do?
right. That's yeah, no. Mm-mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm-mm.
Right. Right. This time they throw some down, throw some more of her stuff down. And I think at this point, it's kind of a rough patch now in the woods. She's already crossed a river. They're now going through the woods. Eh, she's not getting any younger. She's
Yeah.
gotten her stuff back. She's already schlepped out here. She's already gone over the river. Does she really want to go through the woods too?
Ugh, I wouldn't.
Eh, yeah, I don't think
Sometimes, you know,
so.
sometimes you chalk it up and you call your insurance. I'm just
Right.
saying.
Yeah, that's what you should do. I don't think they had insurance at this point in Russia or
No?
what was Russia at that point. Yeah, no, I don't
Mm,
think they had
that's
insurance
unfortunate.
then. It is
That's
because
unfortunate.
this would have been a very good insurance claim.
So the moral here to me so far is don't let children in your house that you don't know.
Isn't
That's
that
what I'm
just
feeling.
I think that might just be just good advice overall.
Agreed. Agreed. You just don't let random kids in your house. So she goes back home?
I think that was her first problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But
Tell me that she's smart enough to go home at this point.
yes, thankfully she is. She's smart enough to go home.
Okay.
She's got all of her goods back. They didn't steal anything else and she goes home. She goes back to her house on the chicken legs. Izbushka is able to go in and just live the rest of her life.
Wow.
Yeah.
These kids don't sound like they're I mean, I can there's the crime.
Mhm.
Theft.
Theft. Right. Theft.
Huh.
Not nice. Not
Never
nice at
I'm assuming
all.
never prosecuted.
No, they weren't, because they went home to their dad. Remember in the beginning, we talked
Yeah,
about
yeah,
this. Right, they went home because he was still living in the village. He was still living there.
right.
He was still doing his thing. He was still just living
With
a
a new
normal
wife.
life
Yeah,
with his
yeah,
new wife and and the children, yeah.
right.
But, they were able to get home, and they saw their dad and told him, what happened with their stepmother, and he kicked her out.
What
Mhm.
a what a great dad. He really
Yeah,
stuck up for his kids.
he did. He
We don't hear that
he's
so
gotta
often.
he must have been so worried about them because they were gone for some time.
A couple of weeks, yeah. Well, there
Yeah.
must have been missing posters out and because it doesn't seem like his wife told them what was going on. You know,
No.
so if she hasn't told him what's going on, he's probably out of his mind with worry.
Right. With the ancient Russian version of milk cartons. Picture
Yes,
on a milk
exactly.
carton.
What
Mhm.
would that be? What would that be? What do you think?
Well, they didn't have cardboard or plastic, so
No.
maybe or
How do you
photos.
how do you
So
put a
maybe a
sign up on the
painting?
tree? Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
maybe a sign up
yeah,
on the tree or a painting on some milk jars or the milk
maybe
pail.
a stick figure? It's not gonna yeah, that's gonna be
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
Oh, the stick figure isn't really gonna represent somebody.
No, it's gonna be hard to, actually
Mhm.
find them that way. Hmm.
Yeah. You can't really represent their features that
No,
way. No,
no, doesn't work.
not so much. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. So he's upset. He's
Mhm.
sticking up for these kids. I
He
love
is.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Love that.
he
Daddy is
kicks
sticking up for them.
yeah, and he kicks the wife out. They separate, they go about their business. I actually think they got divorced.
Wow. He
I know.
really stuck up for his kids.
He did. I don't know if this was the first divorce in that area, but I will say I have not seen any other mention in any legal text about divorces prior to this.
Huh, very
So it could
interesting.
mhm. It could be, if not the first, at least the first one recorded, and I think that might be
Sure.
why this whole story was recorded and was kept for posterity.
Interesting.
right?
So why does the old woman so you said in the earlier on that this old woman has a bad reputation. Are they saying things about her?
Yeah, they're saying she's a witch, that she eats children, that she has
Ah,
steel teeth. I mean, even now, people still have bad teeth, and we have really really great dental and orthodonture in the United States. But
well, yeah,
don't make
if
fun
you're
of people's
British,
teeth.
yeah, if you're British, it's a little different. But yeah, that's weird.
Hmm.
That's
So on top of
why
living in a house on chicken feet with a rooster's head for a roof that could crow, or I'm sorry, not crow, but that could
whatever
whatever sound roosters
roosters
make.
do.
Mhm. They also
Wow.
said that she was a witch and she had steel teeth to eat children. Just really, really bad reputation. I think
That's
just
awful.
just not just not well deserved at all. Really
That is
rude.
awful.
Mhm.
And it sounds like the kids may have kind of embellished this a little bit too, because, I mean,
I
they
wouldn't be
look, they
surprised.
yeah, they've
I wouldn't be
stolen her
surprised.
things.
They
Yeah,
did. They
come
went
on.
in, they they stole from her after she allowed them into her home, told them that
Right,
she would reward them as long as they did their chores. Their other grandmother told them to be good, to obey, to listen to the adults, and what do they do?
right.
What do they do?
Yeah, get taken advantage of, and but they,
Mhm.
well, she got taken advantage. Well, they both got taken advantage of, but still, that doesn't give the kids a right to steal her things.
No, it doesn't.
2 wrongs don't make a right.
That's true.
So, I mean, so the townspeople, did they, w w I mean, did they do some things to this woman, or did they was there
No. No, this woman was a pretty powerful woman, and while she has that really, really bad reputation that I think was embellished and was not well deserved, I also think that reputation may have protected her along with her actual power and wealth.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably
Yeah,
true. So,
yeah.
it's a good thing that these kids didn't whip it up so much that people went after her with, torches and what have you,
Mhm,
as they often did in those times.
mhm. Yeah, but just enough
Wow.
to kinda keep people away from her so that she could live on
Right.
her own and do what she wanted.
So they were scared of her.
Mhm.
So the villagers
Yeah,
wow, wow.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
This sounds
Just
this
goes
really
to
does
show what a bubby can do.
yeah. This sounds, almost like from the kids and the villager perspective that it's like a I don't know, a horror show, in their own mind.
Right, like some evil old grandmother
Right?
who is an all-powerful woman who lives in this giant house that
And
can
eats children.
move and eats children. Yeah,
Yeah. Nah,
yeah,
this
with
yeah.
magic powers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They've got this turned around like it's some sort of horror story, and it's just
I
not.
know.
This sounds like
And
a
she has
sweet grandma.
right, and so what if she has this reputation and she's a main character in multiple other stories that were probably told by this village, all these people in these villages
I'm
around
sure.
each other. Yeah.
You know how tongues can wag, you know?
Mhm.
I mean, come on.
Right. Right. I mean, they knew who she was before they got there. So they had
Right.
obviously heard about her.
Yeah. That's crazy. That is
Very
just
crazy.
crazy.
But just
What
makes me appreciate my bubby even more.
exactly, and so you should, and
Mhm.
I'm so glad you're going to see Bubby this weekend.
Mhm.
Was it her birthday just happens to fall on Mother's Day?
Yeah.
Or around
Just
crazy.
right around it. Yeah.
How convenient.
I
What a
know.
what a what a great thing for the 100th birthday. I can't even
Yeah.
imagine being 100.
Well,
Although we
she's
I
she's a tiny little woman.
my aunt lived to 104. I had
Oh,
an aunt that lived to
wow.
104. Yeah,
Good genes.
yeah. Yeah, apparently. I don't know. I love a pair of good jeans.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of jeans, yeah.
Just a little bit of
Anyway.
stretch to them, not too
Yeah, just a
much.
little tiny
Mhm,
bit. Yeah, 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 exactly,
mhm,
exactly.
yeah. Which is
Wow,
perfect,
good
which is what you need when you eat cookies.
Oh, oh,
especially Russian
please, no,
cookies.
I need sweatpants when I eat cookies. Jeans aren't gonna cut it. Throw or some gym shorts. It's not gonna wear jeans, sorry. But I will have a cocktail with those cookies.
Oh, that sounds delicious. What
Yeah,
kind
no
of
milk for
cocktail?
me.
Ooh, you know what?
Yes.
You could have a coffee martini with some nice
Ooh, or a blu
mhm.
ch I make a really mean chocolate martini.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with, light and dark, uh, I think it's Godiva chocolate liqueur.
Oh, that sounds delicious with maybe like a snickerdoodle or some type of sugar cookie. Mhm.
I have, like, a snickerdoodle shake that I just crumble on
Mm,
the top. Yeah. Yeah, I've had one of
perfect.
those in ages.
Yeah,
Perfect with
I
cookies.
wonder if these kids brought the precursor to the snickerdoodle.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean,
Okay.
I could see pain for almost anything with the snickerdoodle or a chocolate
For
chip
sure,
cookie.
for sure. Or, the
Mhm.
rugelach cookie,
Oh,
the Russian
yeah,
rugelach cookie, the Jewish
yeah,
Russian yeah, oh, yeah, come
yeah.
on.
I mean, I could easily be bribed with some good arugula,
Somebody shows up
and
and I can bake them.
I bet you that's what they had too.
Totally. Somebody show kids show up at my door, I'm I'm listen, I'm not gonna put them to work, but I am gonna get those cookies.
Mhm,
That's all I'm saying.
right.
That's all I'm saying.
Although, what if they steal from you?
That's fine as long as I get the cookies. I won't
Uh,
even be mad.
uh.
Yeah.
So, maybe they didn't give her the cookies then. Maybe that's why she
That's
got
what
so
I think.
mad.
That's what I
Mhm.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can bake them, but I'm not going to. It's too much work.
Especially when they have them.
Yeah.
When they have them ready for you. Mhm.
Yeah. Crazy.
Mm.
Well, this was a
All about
fun
cookies.
story. This was where did you find this old case? I mean,
This
it
one
sounds
was
more like
buried. This one has was
yeah.
buried, and I've kind of found that with a lot of Russian cases and history that some of it is just some of the really old stuff is buried, is missing large sections, or there's issues with translation.
That happens a lot. I think, well, coming out of Russia, getting anything out of there is, pretty difficult, but historically, but yeah, I mean, this is, I can understand there is a crime committed, but she's not pressing charges. She's just going back and living her life.
Mhm,
But I mean, there's some heartwarming parts to it. Dad is, stepped up to the plate. But yeah, I could see where if the kids have wound the villagers up enough, that
mhm.
this would have been a major story in their local whatever they
In
wrote
the
on.
local news.
Yeah, their local, hand-me-down news.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Especially since it sounds like their dad was one of the first, if not the first, to publicly get a divorce and not
Yeah.
just
So
separate.
yeah. So I'm sure he believed everything the kids said
Oh, of
they made
course.
a big deal
Yeah.
of it, and this woman was,
Mhm.
turned into some horrific, horrible creature to be feared, instead of just a sweet old grandma.
Well, I don't think this was the first story about her. It from what I could see, it seems like the children were very familiar with her and were already afraid of her going in. So I think this just sort of added to
Ah,
yeah, I have seen her name pop up quite a bit. She's a very, very active grandmother.
interesting. Are we related to her by any chance?
I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask if maybe you would come across anything in your DNA research.
I haven't yet. I was doing some ancestry a little while ago, some genealogy. I'm gonna look for Yaga and see if we had a Yaga in our family that,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
might have
a
been this
Baba
woman.
Yaga. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wild. Wild,
Crazy.
wild, wild. That
Wild,
is
wild
crazy.
west. Right.
Wild,
The
wild west.
Wild West of Siberia.
Yeah, yeah. My great-grandfather was from Siberia, so there you go.
I am so sorry, but
I
at least you can deal
I
with the
bet he
cold.
knew. I bet he knew Baba Yaga.
Oh, that would have been nice. That would have been nice to talk to him about her then.
I I wish
Maybe
we
get some
had some
firsthand
documents,
account, right? A
right?
firsthand account to see what she was actually like.
Right. That's unfortunate, and, he's been
Mhm.
gone. He died way before I was born. It's I would have
Mm,
really loved to have spoken to him, and now that I know about this, it's just yeah,
right.
it I
I'm really curious about the house and what
yeah.
type of stilts people thought were chicken feet that could
Yeah,
move, that were so mobile.
I'm thinking that that probably was part of this whole I the idea of making her look scary
Mhm.
and like she was a big threat
Yeah,
and, it was to scare the children away from her and create this horror story, about this woman. I think
right.
that's
But
probably
curious enough, her house actually was mobile and she could move. So
Wow!
there are reports, there are actual reports about people going into the woods to look for her at her last known location and her home being gone, and then others finding her in a completely brand new location miles and miles and miles away.
Okay, so it was an early motorhome
Mm,
without a motor.
without a motor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken
I
power
just don't s yeah, yeah.
instead of horsepower.
Yeah, I think it's either lost in the translation from
Mhm.
Russian to English, or they're making her look scarier, than she really is. I think it's likely it was some type of motorhome.
Mhm.
Well, a large motorhome. They make them really large. You can get a 31-foot motorhome. I've
Oh,
seen them.
wow.
They're
Wow.
gorgeous. I wouldn't drive one myself, but, hey, um, in the day, she's living at camping kind of in the woods. She's living in the woods.
Right? Might as
Wow,
well, right?
not as well.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
Living
sharing
the
this one
life.
with me. Yeah, power to grandmas, power to the baba, you know? Give Booby I mean, Booby doesn't know me, but give Booby a nice hug from me.
I
Tell
will.
tell her that we talk every week and, I we
And,
fetch about these people and,
we do.
and then we get verklempt together and we have our coffee and we
Oy.
chat and, please tell me she talks like that.
She does. Her Yiddish is much better than
Oh,
mine.
fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. Where was she born?
She she was born in, well, actually, she was born in Canada. Her
Wait,
father was born in, her father was born sorry, her father was born in Leeds, but her mother was born in what is now Israel.
and she talks like this?
Mhm. Well, they spoke a
Wow,
lot of
wow.
Yiddish. They spoke Yiddish when she
Fair
grew
enough,
up.
fair enough,
Mhm.
fair enough.
I mean, her
I
mother
thought
her
she
mother was born in Meir Sherim, so,
wow,
you
I thought
know.
you were gonna say
Mhm.
they were born in the old country. I mean, that's the really old country.
No, that was her husband. My
Okay,
Zeta, her
alright,
husband, yeah.
okay, wow.
Poland.
Oh, so
Mm.
he was okay, okay. So that's where she got it from. That's where she got you know, the Yiddish Jewish grandma thing. Yeah.
I don't know.
Ask her if she
She's,
knew Baba Yaga.
I will. I will, because she's traveled quite a bit. So maybe she was able to get to Russia and maybe meet a descendant of Baba Yaga. Or
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe Baba Yaga just was wealthy enough and powerful enough and she's still hanging around in her house, in her
Ooh,
mobile home.
creepy, creepy,
Very creepy.
creepy.
But if she does, I would like to know her secret. If it's maybe a
And
nice skin cream, a
for
green
sure.
juice.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Ginger, something like that.
Mhm.
Well, do
Something.
ask Bubby about Baba, so
Okay.
we can see maybe Bubby knows Baba.
Yeah.
Maybe Bubby has heard the story of Baba.
Or one of
What it
them.
so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and we can get some insight from her. That'd be great.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in the
Yeah.
meantime, have a nice flight. Be
I
safe,
will.
and we'll catch up again next week. And
Perfect. Sounds wonderful.
yeah, and thanks for taking some time out with I love when you find these cases. You're just a workhorse. I'm telling you. When do you
I
have time to
I
practice law? It's crazy.
I mean, I don't really.
Oh
Practice
yeah, so
they
so.
say practice makes perfect, but I don't really know if that's applicable in this case.
Well, you need to keep practicing. Is all I'm telling you.
I probably should.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate it, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and the grandmothers out there, all the babas and the bubbies and what have you. And wow, what a story! What a story!
Power to the bubby.
Power to the booby.
Mhm.
All right, everybody. Have a good flight.
Thank you. Talk to you next
All
week.
right. Talk to you next week.